Oh, yeah, I have these issues. I have 2-year-old issues, and then I have 17-year-old issues. And 17-year-old is just sleeping all day, and the 2-year-old just have to repeat, "Stop lifting the cat by the throat." And I was like, huh. So this is common. This is a thing. It's interesting to see other case studies. So this is common.
Case studies, if you want to call it that.
Well, as Chris says, when you're fucked up, you tend to get another look at things. Yeah, different perspective.
I did set us as live, by the way. Even though Torm isn't here.
It's not showing.
What's new about that?
Wow,
That's refreshing.
I know. I'm so dark. Bad.
How dare you call people out?
I don't know.
You never get called out on this show, so... Don't understand where all of that negativity comes with you.
Do I get called out?
I don't know.
Today, by the way, I have visitors, so just be aware.
They come from to randomly turn and flip people off.
Yeah, they come from the big city of Toonsburg. I just made that international.
Toonsburg?
It was called that before, Toonsburg. So there might be some occasional background noise.
Oh well, we're used to that with Opsid at least, so what's another one?
Oh yeah, Christmas comes early.
Oh.
I did something horrible. Tried to get the boyfriend of the year award, and I bought this shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, I corrected it though. Like I of course I have this, but
good.
It wasn't worth it. The other one, it wasn't worth it.
It's impressive how much caffeine is in cola and urge, actually.
Hmm?
Didn't give it too much thought, but apparently there is a lot of it.
Oh, urge.
Yeah, I got the urge.
In Spain, that is urge.
Yes, in Norwegian it is called the urge.
I'm not even kidding you. We were at the store and she said
that's even worse with that R.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I understand what is your problem. Sometimes you just have the urge for some urge.
It is very nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
People from the north tend to suck at English a lot more than people from the south or from the equator of Norway and down. So I was watching Snap, where it started with the spelling of couple, COUPLE, with KOPPEL. It was one. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Some people are just retarded, so you can't blame them for that.
It sounds like they're just doing phonetic version of it.
Yeah, well, when the Snap progressed, I kind of understood more. And
but then again,
actually...
from where the country starts going narrow, just to you go north.
Like Trondheim.
Anything from above that is just retarded.
Yeah, right?
It must be those Slavic genes.
You know this, Chris. Maybe you do, Tio, but I doubt it because you speak English in your house, right? You and Truda, you all speak English mostly.
I suppose mostly.
This snapper said, "It's not off." She was in Finland, by the way. She was in Finland, asking if she knew people, and she said, "Because it's not often I am in the outland." There we go. See, Chris got that. Chris knew that because we say that in Norway. But you don't fucking translate it.
No.
Yeah. That's
the outland.
The outland. It was like, holy crap, are you D&D? Is it? You don't go there. She was playing Pokemon in Finland in the outland.
We call it outland in Finnish as well.
You
So
do?
it sounds much more impressive.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
but we don't
Welcome.
translate.
hold on, I will only go to the Outland. No, wait, I was just going. That was Samish. That was horrible. I'm sorry for disrespecting your people. That tend to happen.
Every time I hear a Norwegian say the word Utland, it always reminds me of like episode 1 or Jabba the Hutt's palace. I think he says Utmien.
Utland.
Utmien. In Hottis.
You're listening to Norwegian and you're basically referencing us against Star Wars.
Yeah,
There are worse things. to
because
reference.
There is worse things.
because your language is terrible and made up.
Satana Pirkka. Just saying that we are not the only language that sounds fucked up. But I have this, like,
Nonsense.
Theo, noe kommer til dere, skal dere vel ligge med dere, snakke med dere, noe, og så kan vi legge med dere. Right?
I actually understood all that.
Yeah, but you speak kinda similar. Like, in a fucked up way, it's kinda similar. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm forcing
Right.
myself to use a doke.
But why? Por qué Maria?
Fordi dere er sånne folk som er litt grann merkelige for at holde til på Sørlandet.
Yeah. Well, when I speak, så høres det ut som at en katt spiste et eller annet på det, så puker den utover gulvet ditt på, så later som at den har gjort noe bra med det.
Det høres mer ut som det er en fucked up blanding mellom en Oslo-buer og en danske.
Well, fuck you too, for jeg føler ikke at jeg er fra Oslo
I thought
eller Danmark.
I thought that was more of a kind of like southern Swedish, like.
Oh, have you,
No,
you heard that, oh, what the fuck is that dialect? Ja, jag kommer från Sverige. You know that
Skåne.
Stone. Oh, may those people die. I hope. Sorry. Sorry. If you're from Skåne, I'm so sorry, Big Papa. I really hope you're not. But I don't like those people. I don't.
I don't think
Papa,
also-
Papa isn't from Skåne, I think. He's from where is he? Closer to the middle somewhere, I think. Right?
I'm
remember.
very specific racist. Basically.
Göteborg,
Hmm?
ja. Göteborg, ja.
Göteborg. Oh, by the way, could everyone just direct your attention at the chat where Jahan, look at your head, basically like a hut. First comment today was about my head. Now I take that as a compliment because Jahan actually sees my head, and I have been using
that?
constructive.
Okay.
What did he? What
Where
did
is
she
that?
say?
Buros?
Oh, Borås. Borås.
Buros.
Jag kan inte säga att jag har hört något om den här platsen där i alla fall.
Hi.
We are
Välkommen
really
till
good at-
Buros.
Hej, välkomna till Sverige.
My turrets.
If there's any language I don't generally enjoy, it's Danish. That weird way
that
when they
shit
have
is
a
made up.
potato in their throat.
That shit's made up.
Jeg
Ja.
forstår jo, hvad fanden du snakker om. Jeg taler lidt dansk, fordi jeg bor
Yes.
så jævligt langt nede i Norge. Jeg må forstå og snakke dansk. Yeah, I hate that language too.
I know.
Fuck
That's
English.
why I compared you to a half-breed between Oslo.
Just because I'm adept at languages doesn't mean that. Do you want some tea with that sugar? So, you know, I can speak.
That was not very British at all.
Welcome to the Banteral Language Power Hour.
Yes. But I feel Scandinavians or Norwegians can adapt to the Scandinavian languages.
That is because the Norwegian populace has been occupied by forces from both Sweden and Denmark.
I don't remember being occupied by neither Sweden or Denmark, but I still.
No, in your time it was actually the Germans that came and did stuff to you.
Exactly. But why do I remember?
He's not
It's
quite
not-
that old, is he?
No, I'm not that
Although
old either.
you can see the grey starting to settle in.
You gotta be more original, you know?
That came from number 1, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
It's mostly the lighting, I think. But it's still a good joke.
Well,
It is.
then again, grays don't always just appear because of age. It's also because of stress. Like, say, having children.
Like having a cat that wants to
Children.
kill you.
And 2 children.
And a cat.
And a cat, yeah.
And a girlfriend.
Yeah, it's almost like he's
Like watching
doing all of
telenovelas.
this voluntarily for himself. Do you really hate yourself that much?
He watches telenovelas now, so...
True.
I was collaterally watching telenovelas. I was sitting on the sideline, and then it happened, and I was like, "Did that just happen? Was that scripted?" If you
next
see, you
next
need
we
to see
hear
that.
from Seb, he started watching Korean soap operas as well. Those are even more bonkers.
Don't worry. At some point, he'll find those Spanish ones where the men are always the ones that cry.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué, María?
Maria. ¿Por
Maria,
qué?
por favor.
Con mi
The
hermano.
closest I came was just binging Narcos. Finally
That was the
It was
closest you got to Spanish telenovelas.
Yeah.
Watching Narcos.
I'm very satisfied with my decision.
I would say that is.
How was that show, by the way?
Hmm?
Hello.
Yeah, Torm, not to be racially insensitive or anything.
This
but
is the second time. Yeah, that's just the second. We need the black guy to be racially diverse in the group. This is
What-
the
what
second
did I
time we
do?
had that.
You are black. There's
You're black.
the
Oh, I
truth.
know that I'm black because I'm changing clothes. I'm not going to show you.
That's racist.
Aw,
Are we trying to convert Orm into our token black guy?
We need one.
We don't know,
We need to
actually,
find
sorry.
a random one.
he's our token Jewish guy because he's actually.
He's the minority representative. He's gonna
Yeah.
encompass all.
They are
the
not the
minor-
minority. Oh my god.
Compared to
Israel.
the rest of the big religions.
I think throughout history, Europe has made itself fairly clear on the matter of Jews, so they are a minority these days.
Hey, Papa, you need to watch the story. I see that
Unfortunately.
you haven't seen it. You need to see the shit.
But
What is this?
It's my Snap story. It's going viral.
he's showing off telenovelas.
It's
Oh, is it a
Awesome.
secret advertisement for our channel? Is it what sponsors us? Is
No,
that
it's-
where we get our millions?
it is
I
not.
wish.
And it's also pesos, so it's not millions.
Millions
Torm,
of
I
pesos.
just
I
just
take
figured out what I
millions
could
of
send you.
pesos. I'm
What?
not sure
A
what
few
the
hundred
exchange
cents.
rate is.
I have the perfect thing to send you from Norway. Since you sent me sandcake, it was actually delicious, by the way. I've eaten all of it.
I
Pancake
can
is
send you a
awesome.
new one if you want.
Yeah, and I'll send you some Jew cakes.
What is that?
They're Jew cakes. They're an actual thing in Norway. Jødekake.
I'm just wondering if it's
Which
the
ones are
same thing
those?
as the elven wine or the elf wine. Was it? What was it? Elf liquor?
Or cookers.
They are literally called Jew cakes. I don't know why.
I'm actually curious about this.
Is it
They're-
made
they're-
of Jews?
No.
It's the
I hope so.
residuals from the war.
But I don't
Oh,
think
God.
Norway was in the war. I mean, regarding that.
Oh my God, where have you been? Chris, you want
I-
to take this?
I never actually
Nope, I suck at
read
history.
about it.
Okay.
I love it that you sent me it in Norwegian.
Yeah, because there is no English translation of it. Nobody's dared because even here we've had media coverage of like, is this insensitive?
Is it okay?
But then again, we used
Once
to
you-
have a brand of spice called Negro.
Once you have the question, is it insensitive? It probably is.
I'm not sure.
Remember
Oh,
when
yeah.
we had
Wow.
I'm not sure if I can actually say the word on Twitch. Negro kisses,
Oh
Her-
yeah, that's
Hershey kisses. They're like a chocolate
I
treat with
translated
like
for you, by the way.
foam in the middle.
yeah.
Opposite, I translated it for you. I put it on Skype.
Google translated it for me as
Me
well.
too.
I don't think that Google Translate. When
Is it seafood
Sephardic
origin?
cryptoids found there. Are you aliens?
Yes.
Because
Google
Seafood
Translate
origin.
actually totally translated it to Jew cake and Jewish cakes.
yeah,
I think we can safely assume that it's racist. Though it has nothing to do with Jews, so that's at least one thing.
this sounds like a awesome science fiction unit. The Sephardic crypto Jew.
We should totally just Google Translate a lot of,
No, they are a actual
Foods?
thing.
Yeah, we should do that with a lot of foods and then make our own kind of Netflix show.
Sephardi Jews, also known as Sephardi Jews or Sephardim, blah blah blah.
Party Jews.
Farty Jews.
Sephardim.
We just went from Jew cake to farty Jews.
Literally translates to the Jews of Spain, the Jewish ethnic
Yes.
division of whose ethnogenesis.
That is actually something I do know.
Is that enough?
Yeah, he's turned
He
off.
left.
He's the
This
he's the sensible one. Doesn't want to have anything to do with this conversation anymore.
But our pre-banter has
That's
covered a
understandable.
lot of shit. Like, since we
Our
started.
pre-banter has been going on now for what, 18 minutes?
No, but not, yeah, but that is just one show.
Well,
like one
I
episode.
mean, most of it we
Yes.
were waiting for Torm anyways.
Yeah, and
Yes,
usually
but
when
we
we're
were
waiting
also-
for Torm, we usually diverge.
Also, I need
Interesting.
to make sure everyone has closed their Wikipedia articles because that is a black hole that you will never emerge from. When you open a Wikipedia to read something, and then while you're reading it, like, oh, that looks interesting.
Really?
You're reading that, and then you go deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, and eventually, somehow, you always end up on World War II or Hitler.
Yeah.
No, actually, for me, normally it ends up with with reading about aliens.
Yeah, but Norway was so influenced in the Second
The
World War
aliens?
that we always get it in our face.
Oh, I thought that you were involved with aliens.
That too, but
I'm
that
not
was
we
saying
not
cannot
it's
until
confirm
later.
or deny.
aliens, but it's aliens.
Well, I mean, they're illegal aliens.
Yeah, we have a
That's
shit
a
ton of
song.
those.
Build that wall. Build that wall.
Now we covered every topic about something.
Actually, as far as I'm aware, there is a wall between Norway and Sweden, and most of the border between Norway and Russia.
Well, no shit. Sweden went to hell.
Yeah,
Sweden
and now,
went bottom side up.
remember a while back ago, I mentioned the law was put to vote that if Sweden has a breakdown, they are going to shoot everyone approaching the border.
Roger, you gotta
It's
go
been
south
ratified.
and then swim.
It's been ratified.
Yeah. Now we're
So-
shooting Swedish guys.
That's only the sensible solution, to be honest.
Yeah. But
At,
Well,
at,
I
least,
mean,
at
they
least
are-
with Finland, it's mostly water, so you can't. You have this like funneling effect.
nah, you just wait for the winter.
It's
so
easier
it's
to just like landmine that.
I'm sure you could just talk to Russia and get some cluster bombs.
We actually have the cannons still
Those
on
aren't
the
allowed
shore.
anymore. Neither are actually landmines.
Nobody's told Russia that.
Yeah.
I forgot that memo.
Yeah.
Well, they probably got the memo, but they immediately destroyed it.
Well, anti-personnel landmines aren't allowed anymore either. Instead, we in the army got training on how definitely not to jury rig a claymore to act as an anti-personnel mine.
Wow. Well, I mean, they work.
Oh well. So, this D&D thing.
Yeah. Before we piss off someone.
I think we
Everyone?
already pissed
Oh,
off
one.
everyone in the world. Basically, if there's a viewer now, he probably didn't listen to the last 18 minutes of this conversation.
Hey, if you're a viewer out there who isn't pissed off, fuck you. There, solved.
Exactly. Now you covered them all.
Fuck you. And
I think we should have the opposite of what normally they say on daily shows. Just like We aren't trying to actually make you feel better about yourself. We're actually making you worse.
Yeah.
I hate cats.
Now
We want
you
our
are,
viewers to be as miserable as possible, so they will stay and enjoy our D&D.
Yes.
you do know that the cats are the viewers that we have, right?
Well, that was a picture. I'm not going to get out of my head
I
anytime
hope
soon.
they're not trying to learn how to take over
Play
the world
D&D.
from us,
Oh,
especially from Chump.
well, Champ will teach them very well.
I will.
Yeah. Trump will just first all those cats.
Sure. Speaking of Chump became the protector of Mintar last time. Not
Yeah.
just any protector, he became the Lord Protector.
Now I really wonder if that's
There's a sad story on
sunk in.
Kind of. Although it's a very nice title, but as towards the goal, it's kind of just a start. So
What's the goal? I never heard the goal.
you never heard make Faerun great again. Wait,
That's not the goal.
Great Faerun great again.
That's a logo for. I mean, that's something you say to get chosen, but
Did someone get murdered in the background?
Yes,
it sounds like that.
my stair traps went off
Why do you have stair traps?
So they will
because of
leave
this
him alone.
exact situation.
Somebody died.
After the whole trap at the
Unfortunately,
top of the
not yet.
stairs.
Just make sure that you take away the body soon enough, because if not, it will stink.
I know the last one. Let's not get into that.
So do try not to shove your fist out their ass.
That's the promise I cannot make.
You're gonna leave fingerprints in a place that's hard to erase from. So.
I have already done
I have a
that.
viewer that actually said that he doesn't think that actually someone died. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's Jahan. That's not a reliable source of information.
Now, are we really trying to insult every viewer?
They
You know,
will love it.
Insulting
I
Jahan.
want to cultivate a viewership that can take the punch as well as they can give it.
Yes.
That's true viewership. Those that are dedicated after they're insulted.
Those that survive the grilling,
Give
Like
as
the
good as they
online
get.
sexual disease.
they are worthy of watching us. So, what's happening in Mintar? I believe you had a plan of
Overthrowing the Overlord set.
Making Faerun great again.
What's going on there? I have
that
to
sounded
know.
more like a laugh, which is very well timed.
It was
Yeah,
very well timed, wasn't
the traps are laced with hallucinogenics.
it? Yeah, I
That
was wrong shelf.
actually a great tip. Piece of paper.
Oh no!
There you go.
So where are we at the moment?
Based with hallucinogenics. I wrote that wrong.
Right.
Oh well, fuck it. I know what it means. So, last time,
Where did we end?
we ended up with, I believe, the four of you parting ways again. Because two of you
Parting
wanted
ways?
to head over to Longwood Grove still. And and one of you was being sealed up, preferably, to think about what he's done.
And what was I
Yeah.
doing?
You were
Sulking.
mostly.
Oh yeah, right. I was sulking. Yeah.
I think you had some plans regarding the shadow tower floating
I did.
around above Mintar, but who knows? Quilena
It's
is a
just me and
fickle
Ruth
beast.
and
Quilena is a illusion by itself. I mean, in the end, you will just discover you actually were traveling with an illusion, and that's it. I mean, she was actually misled all the way.
And the newly crowned Lord Protector over Mintar, its first job is to leave it.
Yep.
I would be Lord
exactly
Protector.
when everyone needs him most.
I'm going to vacation now to check my new home. You guys got this crisis, right?
Actually, that
He probably should have started with telling them, "Okay, build me a castle. I will come back to check it."
I'm gonna go over that way, guys. You keep doing what you're doing.
Good
before
job.
I find a good
that way.
outsourcer, I should probably stay in Mintar after the recent events.
But you already left.
No,
But yet, he's still like.
I'm still on my way. Like I just took the oath. People are still bowing.
How long are they bowing?
Until he tells them to get up, probably.
Which I kind of didn't get the memo of.
So he's still standing there, they're bowing. He's like,
Oh, wait, you're still down there? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have
going
to.
to check what my cat is killing.
Worden, are you there?
No.
I'm trying to speak to you telepathetically.
Actually,
Do we
you're
have
no
a bond?
longer connected.
We're not.
Seems
you
like
can
I'm not
speak to yourself.
connected anymore.
Do not pay the bills, so you have been dismissed.
Just gets a dial tone.
Dude. No, actually, you're really not connected because an hour has passed since we used it, so.
So it's safe to say that Kalana's a bitch. Worden, where are you?
If I remember correctly.
Has anyone seen Werden?
Where
I
was it?
ask all the people bowing. Also, if you're still bowing, you can get up.
You had been outside watching the fight, and then I believe you moved in with Kothar.
After saving the
Afterwards.
victim.
Yeah, by
the infirmary to help
Hello.
heal up the other.
How are you doing?
Oh yes.
My cat wants to play D&D.
Heal things. Heal everyone. That's the way you're just walking around healing people. Mhm.
Feeling like dry chips biscuits the entire time.
He's not actually casting any healing spells, he's just going around doing Everybody feels better now.
Yeah. He saw a lot of lay on hands, but he's still going around. You get a lay on hands, and you get a lay on hands, and you get a lay on hands.
And I don't
Everyone's
have
getting
anything more
one
to
hit
heal,
point.
but I'm still doing it.
40 different people are getting 1 hit point.
It's a gunshot wound. No. It's 8. I'm sorry.
How big of a med pack do you need? Can I find
Here, have a
Werden?
cookie. Here, have a cookie. Here, have a cookie.
yeah, Shump. If you go upstairs to the infirmary, then yes, you would be able to find your companion.
Werden.
Yes.
I'm sorry, there's voices in my head that is leaking out of my face. I think we have to postpone our
It's all the album.
adventure to Longwood Grove. Sorry about that.
What's going on there?
As Theo said, it's the elves trying to get out.
There are so many voices after I took the oath. I can feel them. Some of them were quite feminine when they died.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those elves you drank were quite feminine.
When someone what? I seriously, I didn't hear you because there was still a voice that was...
I'm sure some of the elves you drank were quite feminine.
Of course it has to be something about liquid elves. No, I
I'm
didn't.
pretty sure that's what we were all saying to begin with.
I haven't drunk an elf in a very long time. But I'm pretty sure the people behind giving me liquid elf or elf grog fell victim to genocide.
Not genocide if you tell someone.
I feel like I have Kalena in my head. Goddamn Kalena. But I feel like we have to postpone that adventure to Longwood Grove. Just to be safe, I think I have to get a handle on my responsibilities in Mintar. See if I'm actually fit to this that I have already signed on to.
Sounds like a good plan.
Doesn't it? Doesn't
Why
it look
not?
good on me, by the way, the coronet and the ring? I feel it makes me look fruity, but
Jump. When you say you need to get a handle on the situation in Mintar, for just a split second, you think you see a gnome with a handle on his hands, but then you look at it and it's gone. I think you might be overstressing yourself. That would be my medical opinion. Starting to see shit.
I see that you people in here have your hands full. And, you keep doing that shit and I will go down and do my shit. How does that
But-
Can I
sound?
ask you just not to shit on the floor?
Someone shouts,
There's
"The
an outhouse
lavatory
here."
is outside, around the corner."
Thanks.
Try not to shit off the cliff.
Now there's been so much mention of shit that I really have to shit. Thanks. I'll find the lavatory. Then I will take a handle on my business.
I will go. After I heard that, I will just go upstairs to the roof and change my major image into a giant image of Shump taking a shit, 20 feet tall, just that. And I will leave it there and go down.
Atop the tower.
Yep,
It looks like he's just shitting off the side of the tower.
a giant chump.
Meanwhile,
You-
in
you
Crambo's,
You hear very faintly from outside, "Hey, is that the moon?" No. Go on, Kosar.
the rest of the tower is filled with laughter and day-to-day stuff. And in Crambo's room, you just the occasional turning of a page, and one of those awkward coughs, like every 10 minutes or something. Just eventually, Kothar just closes the book, looks around, and you wouldn't happen to have any incense, would you?
Oh, actually, I remember where I was. I was downstairs in the library.
Wait, did you speak to
yes.
me?
I spoke
No.
to Crambo.
Yes.
Crambo, okay.
There is a stretched out silence in the room until Grambo then suddenly goes, "Hmm? And looks back at you. Did you say something?
Yes. You wouldn't happen to have any incense or know if there's a store in the tower with some.
Suppose you could ask the clerics. I don't have any. Could try
Okay.
the storeroom.
He'll leave the book where he's at and head off to probably talk to the clerics first.
Okay. Crombo just kind of haphazardly waves over his shoulder.
I remember that I'm at the library reading about the book.
Yeah, that you are. That is
The
true.
book that
Library.
you have
So I
to
guess there
read.
is no giant chump.
Yes, unfortunately. It was a hilarious image for just a split second. Yeah, you are poring over all of the books in the cellar of the Circle of
Yeah,
Life
and I
Tower.
found a very interesting book as well.
Yes.
One book that I left for the end if I don't find anything interesting on the other books.
Yeah.
So I'm busy.
And you were looking for information regarding the cloud giant structures.
And while I'm doing this, because it's all in crates and I'm annoyed by the illogical ordering of it, I will actually arrange it while I do it. Because she's a sage and she comes from that, so she will be busy also trying to organize it into something that makes sense to her.
Sure. You get a fair deal of work. Your hands.
But she's enjoying herself. She's finally going back to the books where she enjoys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you need to go to someone else at the meantime.
In the meantime, while you're like going through book after book and alphabetizing them, rediscovering a method of organization, Kothar, you head out of Crambo's room and find a cleric nearby in the hallway. She turns to regard you and just kind of averts her eyes.
He'll do that purposely, Morpheus hands behind his back, leaning downwards, like trying to position himself in front of her face.
Okay. Her eyes dart to the other side, averting themselves away from me. Hello?
Yes, it's me, your friendly neighborhood hero. I need some incense.
What kind of incense?
Just herbs or similar incense. It's more about the value of it than it is the actual contents.
You notice her cheeks have started to go like red at this point. She just like hurriedly nods. Yeah. There are some in the main room.
Great. Which main room?
This way. She turns around and leads you out to like the room around this floor's staircase. Basically, there's like an opening area there, and there is a very small little clay jar that has been painted like aquamarine color, and there are these incense sticks sticking out of it, with one placed on a small little holder on the side of the pot, as if it's ready to be lit, but hasn't been. And she hurries to the side and just like points with a hand towards the clay pot.
Excellent. I'll be helping myself to these. Could you stand there and watch me for about 10 minutes?
Gladly. Then she instantly like shakes her head. Sorry.
He's just gonna grin but not do anything else about that and start the incantation for resummoning Ninak. It's been a while.
Okay. You start the incantations with this fairly young cleric standing nearby, just like staring at you.
Yep, good.
Yep, good. Shump, you find the privy. There is a a lavatory made out of white marble just behind the Circle of Life tower. It's very fancy and fitting to the architecture of all of the palaces and grander buildings in this area of the city. So you open the very finely carved wooden door and settle yourself down on this like stone bench with a with a hole in the middle and these two grooves that lead from the hole to the edge of the bench that have been clearly worn there over time.
Damn. You know what? I'm just gonna let one rip. I mean, I'm a busy guy now, so I have to go. We got a lot of stuff to do, and I don't know if I ate some Mexican stuff or the equivalent spicy shit. Maybe we should roll for firmness. I don't know, but I'm gonna squeeze it off as hard as I can, and then I'm gonna head back to my business.
Sure. If you'd like to roll something, you can roll a 1d100.
I do like to roll to know how firm it is.
Yes, you want to be as close to 50 to get the perfect balance of your dietary.
Oh,
that's not good.
You need more fiber.
No, that's a solid constipated.
Oh, the other way. Oh dear.
okay. So instead
that's
of
a nice constipation.
instead of that, we got. Oh Lord! What the hell did I eat?
There's a solid knock on the door while you're grown.
Could I get some privacy in here?
Are they enjoying themselves out there?
I don't know. Maybe it's from the neighbor's stall. Maybe there's a dwarf down at the end of the bench.
So
if there is, I'm giving him an affirmative nod.
No, it's a single stall. For your pleasure.
That's
Privacy.
great.
So there's a solid knock at the door while you're grunting in pain and agony. And there's a voice from outside, belonging to the guard captain, actually. Eloig said or calls out to you. Sir, are you in there? We've cleared out the Parliament building. Yeah.
So did I.
Your quarters are being prepared, and we are starting to load up all of the paperwork and reports from the last few days of combat operations. They will be waiting at your desk.
Thank you. You know, there is more opportune times to get in touch. I'll be right out. I'm coming.
We also have gathered a as close to an estimate regarding our citizenry at this point in time.
Are they outside of the door right now?
No.
If they're not,
no, my lord.
I would like to just pinch this off, and then I'm coming. Okay. The Mintarian cuisine is not settling with my stomach.
Very well, my lord. But the census shows that not aside from the decimation in the Moonlight District, as well as the invasion here that decimated most of the nobility, I'm afraid to say, the city's population has nearly been halved. There will be a period of time in the coming weeks, months, even years, where the city will be suffering from a very overworked population. Not all jobs are able to be filled. You are the de facto leader now.
Is there any homeless people in Mintar? I can't believe I'm doing this from the John.
Not anymore, my lord. There are plenty of housing available now.
Okay. We have housing, but we need to get more people that is not overworked, obviously. We can't just use the homeless people to work the toll booths and also fix the homes problem.
There is also the matter of docking fees to the Circle of Life Tower, which has not been a matter addressed before in city ordinance, and it now stands as a ruling for the Lord Protector to make, as the sole ruler.
I gotta ask, in the past, how big of a percentage of the Mintar income came from docking at the East Tower, or the Tower of Living?
The Circle of Life Tower?
The Circle of Life. I'm sorry. I'm shitting here.
We don't have any airship travel arriving, hence there is no city ordinance. Docking is usually handled beneath in the docks. But that is ordinary shipping. None of that proceed goes directly to the Lord Protector.
I don't want a lot. I don't want any money. We should figure this out when I'm not on the John.
Yes, very well.
Is there more people out there with you right now?
No.
No people seeking audience while I am
not
literally
seeking,
with my pants down.
Not seeking audience, no.
Thank you.
The camera pans away from the door, and we see like half a dozen scribes scrolling down notes.
I will go. Okay, I'm done.
The guard captain turns to one of the scribes and says, "Arrange for a herbal remedies for the Lord Protector, and
who are you talking to?
Perhaps arrange for a
I open the door.
Course of sustenance as well."
What the hell? Hi. Why do you need that many people writing down what we are talking about in a quite private manner?
Eloy turns and like points to the back to the backmost two scribes. Says, "Well, they there are handling the census regarding the population of the city. These two here are gathering all of the reports regarding combat operations. These two here are, well, he is my personal scribe, and him here is, well, he is taking over the position of Parliament scribe, so he will be effectively your scribe, personal scribe."
I see. Nice to meet you. Combat scribes, if you could be so kind as to strike that last entry from right now. We don't need that in there. It was one hell of a battle, but it's not worthy of the scripture. As to the docking, we need to find my crew, and we should talk about how to compensate. We should also find people to Mintar. How many vacant housing do we have? Why is my fucking... It sounds robotic. My fucking sound. You hear that? You hear that? It sounds robotic. Very cool. We need to find people from the vacant housing. How many houses stand empty at this point?
The guard captain looks to the scribes and they just kind of shrug. One of them speaks up. One of them speaks up. We do not have a concrete number on houses that are available. However, we are aware that at least, shall we say, 2/5 of the population will not be returning.
I see the war and everything.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yes. That is unfortunate. We need to remedy this. We have now killed the evil, the current evil.
That
We
is
hope.
a number of roughly 7,500 people.
Jesus Christ! How many people total are there in Mintar?
The previous year's census was close to 22,000, but that is unreliable at this point.
Okay, so there's far less. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we should find out how to fill those houses. Fill the houses. Get people that is not wearied out to work. We need to find food for these people. Where's the food?
The granaries remain largely stocked.
We have food.
Yes, they are in the Hillock district.
I see. We have food, but we have overworked workers.
Most likely. Yes.
Would our supplies survive 2 days with no work?
Of course.
Cool.
It's the end of the harvest season, and all the grain and foodstuffs have been prepared for a winter.
We shall make. This is my first official act as Lord Protector of Mintar. Do I have to say anything cool before I say no? Okay. We're not this day annually.
All of the scribes flip to a new page and start transcribing.
Annually at this day and the following day is going to be 2 days of vacation. We will call it the Shift of Protector Day, where you can just relax, don't worry, take it easy, as long as we have food in the supplies. How does that sound? We have
all of the
people.
scribes turn to huddle together and start they start whispering. Which day is it? Did he mean that the vacation starts on the second day, or at the end of the first day?
Can I hear
the
this?
beginning of the first day? Yes, absolutely, you can hear this.
I want to go over there and kind of lay my arms on just around them, and lean in. So since this is the first one, we will start the vacation from tomorrow morning, running 48 hours from tomorrow morning. But in a year, that means that it would be 363 days until the next one. But that's okay. Then we'll have it on this day.
Yep.
48 hours. Vacay.
Elwig turns to you and says, my lord, does everyone have that vacation?
I feel like the guards, we as guards and protectors, should probably have some moral fiber to guard the gates towards other, maybe, threats. We had just killed a pretty big threat, and there might be more. So I feel like we should have shifts on the guards if it's not very vital to the survival of Mintar. People get a vacation.
Well, my lord, there are 4 main gates into the city, as well as 2 smaller ones. There are 2 access gates from the underworld district, or actually 3 entrances from the underworld district into the city main. So from the docks.
There's a lot of gates.
There are also the watchtowers, which need to be manned. Then there are city patrols, which must be organized.
So what you're saying is that it's the guards that is overworked. It's not the people of Mintar. It's the guards guarding said 16,500 people that is overworked. Am I getting that correct?
Well, that is most likely, yes. But I was considering regarding the vacation. You need to have at least some 200 guards.
How many guards do we have in total?
3.
And are all the party members.
Yeah.
And one of them is currently busy with books.
I seem to recall that there was a number at some point, but I don't remember which one it was. There are probably like 500 blue cloaks probably still in the city, if that. Probably less than that. There are probably also like a few dozen with each refugee group.
What did Harron say about guard rotations and also shift length? How many people did you need to run Mintar?
To run Mintar, my lord?
Yeah, 200 manning the gates.
That is the guard complement for a day. Yes.
Is it very hard for you to organize a vacation for the majority, hopefully everyone, and then the most crucial roles could be in shifts throughout those 48 hours? Would that be possible to do?
All of them all of them in the huddle just kind of look at one another blankly for a moment and then start going, yeah, that's actually a good idea, yeah.
Cool. Why are we standing here discussing this when we have other things to attend to? Is there more troubling matters at hand other than overworked guards?
Well, there is the situation with the docks. There are traders that are still trapped in the city, which have not been able to leave. They require clearance. The harbor master has gone missing. Unlikely missing. He was a dwarf. He could have become infected with the plague, unfortunately. But we require a replacement for that.
Set up an interview or a rally for people interviewing for a harbor master. We will have until tomorrow, where we'll start the vacation. Today, we will assign guards to clear the harbor. We will relieve the people. The traders will go home or whatever if they want. I mean, we have all day to fix shit. What did you do until today?
Fight the enemy?
Just don't forget about that. I was there. I know what we did. Also, I will fix the docks. I will take the airship, and we will pay for that out of our own pocket.
My lord, there's also the case of taking your office.
I have an office?
Yes.
Cool.
In the Parliament House.
Do I have to stay there a lot?
Your office will be prepared in a manner of hours.
Basically, whipping the people, preparing the office so that it's done in the most hastily and speedy way possible for me to take over the office.
Whipping?
Don't whip people. Don't whip people. It was a matter of... You don't have to prioritize my office over the people.
One of the scribes pulls a long line over something he's made in his notes, and one of the others nudges the guy on his shoulder, and you can't write that down. But it's a half orc. You never know.
I'm starting to see why we need more scribes. Walk with me. Can we go down to Kothar?
Sure. Sure.
I'll take my envoy and just walk down to Kothar with a lot of people just scribbling down behind me.
Sure. So, Kothar, your incantations take about 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Or at least the spell. 11 minutes exactly.
Yeah. In the brazier, you see this familiar shape forming, or rather this orb that glistens on the inside surface, and it swirls with this inner smoke that then takes on the shape of a fairy dragon, or something between a pseudo dragon and a fairy dragon. And you see your pressure Niniak's face greet you as the orb like shrinks down into this form, and Niniak's wings flutter for a moment, and the creature takes to the air.
Does he react any differently?
You hear a tiny voice inside your mind say, "Thank you for keeping me safe. I know I can always trust in you." I'm sorry.
That Shade Knight
that...
really wanted you for some reason. It's
Was
almost
that...
like some unseen hand guided him to slay you specifically. It's strange that. Now, do you sense anything different?
Hmm. Niniak considers you for a moment, looking you up and down, sniffing the air in your direction, like taking you in, and then says, "There is something, but I'm not sure what it is."
Well, once I tell you, you will still have free reign of your decisions and what you wish to do. During the hours between your unfortunate return to the spirit realm, I was infected / possessed by a demonic force. Said force is trying to influence me, and I can fully understand if you do not wish to serve as such a master.
Oh, how quaint. I haven't had a master with a demon inside them for quite a while. I think I had one. Did I? Then everything goes silent as Niniak just kind of looks around, looks back and forth between the like either side of you, kind of thinking back.
He'll just smile and hold out his hand for him, and then put him on his shoulder.
Yeah. Niniak coils around your neck.
Make sure to give him a few pats.
And shifting around a little bit more than usual before finding a comfortable position.
Now, the cleric.
Mm-hmm. She's still standing there. She instantly averts her eyes as soon as you like turn to look at her.
I'll actually, I'll cast Mage Hand. Kind of try to lift her face to face me again, even though I'm pretty at a distance.
Okay. You conjure a magical hand and take her chin gently and pull her face up, and she turns to look at you. Her eyes are still like looking around, trying desperately not to look you directly in the eyes, or trying not to offend or stare, basically.
Is there a overview of the various floors and rooms and contents of this tower available?
I do not believe so. For what purpose?
I wish to reacquaint myself, knowing what is available in terms of, well, it is a former mage's tower I can see, so what facilities is this available?
It has been a long time since it's been used as a wizard's tower. The teleportation circle and some books are the only thing that remain truly from that time. Everything else has been converted.
And what of magic circles and devices for magical research and such?
I have not seen any.
The room that Crambo is in, which floor is that on?
That would probably be the 4th floor. There's still 1 or 2 floors before there's the roof.
Yeah, I'd ask her. The room on the 4th floor is the one that contains what remains of the wizard's library, I take it?
No, most of the books were taken down in the cellar. A lot of our orders books, as well as the old wizards books, they have all been transported downstairs.
Where there is an angry Kulena about the order of this place.
Is there anything you are trying to find in particular?
I think I'll have a glance at the books available and see if I find something regarding demonic possessions and means of fighting or counteracting it.
Oh my.
Now, if I were to suddenly ask you to strip naked and walk outside, that's probably the demonic entity doing the talking, so you should disregard all of such.
Her hands are already like at the clasp of her robe, but she quickly pulls her hands back down. Oh, I will keep that in mind.
Good. Now, where are are there any locks preventing access to the basement?
Not anymore. Everything has been removed because of all the people coming and going.
Well, you are free to go back to your duties. I'm sure you have some. I shall head downstairs.
She bows her head and just like watches you go as you head down to the 3rd floor, and hear from below the step of like half a dozen people marching up the stairs. You hear a slightly aggravated or frustrated Chump, as well as the apologetic voices of several people, and the constant scribbling of a quill or a quill.
He has a shutter, but he does the work.
Kothar.
Yes.
By the way, Chris doesn't work now. So now you can hear everything.
Yes.
Fucking input. I didn't know that you've been hearing me all along.
You're sounding a bit less gruff than usual.
I know.
It's hard to tell because he has such a feminine voice.
As you said. Kothar.
Yes, Chump.
I am in need of your help. or not help. You see these fine people?
Yes, they look like mighty fine scribes.
Yes, well,
Thank you.
see, it was a general comment. Basically, we are figuring out how to run Mintar, and it turns out that the guards are overworked. Do you have any experience in organizing guards? Or do you know of a good harbor master? Do you want to be a harbor master? I doubt that you want to be a harbor master. We need a harbor master. What are you doing, by the way? I just needed a change of scenery.
I'm heading downstairs to check out some books.
Oh, that sounds cool. I just used some books myself. Well, not books, but paper.
Yes, I catch your drift. Did you wash your hands?
They actually
Sure,
use
don't
a
touch
set
it.
of 3 clams in this city.
Hmm?
3 shells.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't figure out how those 3 shells worked. I was cursing a lot, though, so that worked. But I need to organize the city. It was good seeing you. Have you seen Kalana?
I suspect
believe
she is
I'm actually asking
either
that.
pouting in a corner or somewhere where there's books.
Cool. So, scribes, we're not going to the library. Let's go to the docks. We'll go to the docks.
And I will find it. See, I was talking like that.
Like that.
It wasn't. There was no effect involved, but that shit would have been so much better if the effect worked. So I'm going
Just
down to
gonna
the
edit
harbor.
it in. After
Yeah,
that.
let's do that because I listened to the clip and that was just horrible.
I'm not actually gonna edit it in.
No, I don't. No, you're not. I'm gonna look for a harbor master, or do I have
some kind of assistant? Not you scribes, but an assistant that keeps my day planner and all the contacts.
You know,
Maybe.
Shump, if you're going to ask me multiple questions and then
No, not you.
get answers
I'm
to
talking
the
to my
single one, you should probably wait for the answers to the other ones as well.
Wait, did you have an answer to the other ones? I was actually talking to my personal scribe.
No,
Right now.
you asked me if I had any experience
Yes.
leading soldiers and guard shifts. I actually do.
I do believe that you do, yes. Which is why we came to you. Eloig, you're the guard captain, the acting guard captain, or the permanent guard captain right now, right?
Yes, my lord.
Do you feel like you have a handle on that? Given the fact that you just asked me a whole lot of questions on how to fit in 2 days of vacation.
My lord, you're the Lord Protector. Whatever you decide goes down as law from now on. We
If
have to be
Kothar-
specific in the way we mark it down and word it. Usually we
Yes.
have several committees working on the exact wordings as well as lawyers. However, they are all
Dead.
Mm.
We should acquire new lawyers too. If Kothar has a good idea, we should have it so that we implement them. He's got experience, so it's good. It's good.
I would say the most important part is making sure all the basic needs are met before you start delving into advanced. And then
Exactly.
also ensuring that overworking is not a problem and start recruiting into new positions based on merit, not by knowledge of friends.
That is an excellent idea.
I think we
however,
just
there
covered all that, actually.
However, there is a vacation that has just been announced that will be starting tomorrow.
With the appropriate shift so that we don't stay unprotected.
Oh, so you mean a minimum complement, and then you said how long will it last?
48 hours.
Easy. You just have those that volunteer for the shift the first day will have extended vacation for the other day, and we also receive a minor bonus. That way you
Problem
can have
solved.
those most willing to do the guard work actually attend.
Problem solved, and overworking will go away. We should try to make the shifts
That being
complement each
said,
other.
have you ensured that the people that took refuge in Nightstone,
Yes, they went
that
to
they're
Nightstone.
being transported back?
No, we have not gotten that far. Thank you for reminding me.
Send
a
about
rider.
200 people.
There are also refugees in Saradush, Selmor, Ankapor, Yashpek, Tomon, Soldafar, Taymarsh, even Yallash. I believe
Thanks,
even
Kovar.
some went to Ihap. Perhaps even further into Tethir.
How many people do we have in town right now compared to what we should have had? You said 2/5 were gone. Those were dead, right?
Yes, as in perished, either in
Perished.
the plague or the fighting.
How many other people are not in town?
Currently, the city holds roughly only the guards, which is 400 maybe. Then there are the traders. They are foreigners. They are not citizens. So there are
I'm having a feeling we should scratch that
there
vacation.
are maybe 60 traders in the city, as well as some 400 citizens.
Might I suggest that you send messengers to those cities and
You should.
inform those refugees that the city is once again safe, and also add in some kind of incentive for their return, and make sure it happens quickly before they set roots in those new cities.
Of course, but the incentive should be that, death does not longer lurk in Mintar. Say we will have a feast. We will have a feast for the village, or the city now, the metropolis, is what I want to call it. Send ravens to all the people.
Celebrations and feasts, and perhaps a minor tax lowerance or something.
Yes, which should be maybe even replaced with a holiday. I thought there was 22,000 people. Out of those, 5,000 or 6,000 were dead. Out of those, 16,500 were in the city in need of vacation. That is not the information I'm stuck with. That is not even close. We have to get our city first. Send ravens.
Eloig looks at you, Shump, and says, well, considering you had been walking the empty city streets, I
thought that was
imagined
a holiday, or maybe it was a holy day, which is probably where holiday comes from. Maybe they were just taking, I don't know. Maybe there was fuck it, just get them back.
Shump, I would consider actually asking Heron for
Yes, I'm actually on my
position
way.
of assistant.
I'm actually on my way to him now. Now that I know
He
where I
has a lot
have to
more
avoid.
experience.
Yes. Also, I should probably tell Roherthan we're not leaving for Longwood Grove. If I didn't, I think maybe I did. I did. Yes, I already did. I know that I'm not going to the library. I have to avoid that place completely. To Heron. We need to find Heron.
Yeah, last I saw, Roherthan was running around with the clerics and also getting looks from some of the female staff. It seems they had some issues they wanted him to get hands-on with.
As long as he stays hygienic and don't bring the championship to the infirmary.
I believe that's what the
good.
barrel of alcohol they asked for.
I hope that's for disinfection and not the other
Not
part.
both.
Well, first, it's a matter of priorities. Also, what was I saying? Where did Heron go? Did he make it off the...
I don't know. He limped back into the tower and went to get fully mended. He did slice him up quite decently.
It was... We have to amend that relationship. It was his doing. He started. Eloig, we need to find Heron.
One of the scribes is very busy jotting down.
Don't write that down.
I'll be doing that quite a lot. Just turning around. Don't write that down. Stop it.
proceeds to write
Have you
down.
seen?
Proceeds to write down Harren Al-Rainen, possible traitor, and then scratches out.
Question mark.
Have you seen Taboo?
Yes.
When they have that posh upper society doing their scribe work, and then he lifts his hand, and the scribes just put down the quills.
Yes.
You need to institute that.
I will institute that.
Scribes, whenever I hold up my hand, thou shalt not scribe. Is that understood?
All of them scribble down whenever the Lord Protector raises a hand.
Let's do a test. I will now hold my hands down, and you may write this down. From this day forth. Are you all writing this down?
Yeah, they're already scribbling down.
A new Lord Protector came into Mintar, and we started to make the city great again. There was a lot of stuff that had to be done. What did you get from the last part? Are you still writing down?
Is there anyone still writing right now?
You glance back and see that they are all looking down at their clipboards and writing.
All right, so we need to fix the ranks. Let's go for Harren.
Okay. As you are marching down, one of the scribes calls out and says, "There is also the case of the literal tons of bronze we have. What are we going to do with that?"
That from the Shade Knights.
Yes. The salvage.
Melt it
Do
down.
we have
and
indoor
reuse it.
plumbing? Do we have indoor plumbing in the Mintar?
Only in this jurisdiction.
We should make indoor plumbing a thing for the entire city. Melt it down to small bronze pipes. We will maybe look at heating too.
I picture that this is like, you know, those Japanese schoolgirls that holds their books like this when they run tear after the leader.
Basically, yeah. They are basically that.
Cool.
We will fix it. We will have plumbing and water and heating for the houses.
Kothar, while you're walking along behind them, one of the scribes is muttering to themselves, reading out as they write down, remember to rip open all the city streets to install copper or bronze piping.
Sounds about right.
I don't know. I didn't see that, so I can't do anything about that. I will have to fix my ranks, obviously.
And Shump and his cadre of scribes march on out of the tower to find Harren, who at this point, after all of that nonsense, has been like more or less mended up and has demanded to be set free. He is outside the tower. Kothar, you, however, are heading down to the library. Roherden, what are you doing in the meanwhile?
Probably sat in the infirmary, going around checking on people, trying to heal them a little bit, closing any fatal wounds.
Sure.
And drinking heavily of the alcohol.
Like, you have one of the bottles of like whiskey that's been used for some of the wounds in hand.
Yep.
Medicinal liquor.
He takes himself a sip and pours some on the wound. Gives something to the patient.
Like a
I
proper
don't even do that. I
battlefield
take a
doctor.
sip, spit half out my mouth onto the wound. I don't even pour it. I'm just like,
This should heal.
And
The alcohol cleans up my spit, so it's fine.
there are several.
I'm a dwarf. I spit 99% alcohol anyway. You're fine.
There are several clerics of life that are walking around after you, just to like make doubly sure that you're not like messing these people up further. But they appear to be fairly pleased with your work so far, so they allow you to meander and.
Apart from this one, there's probably this one who's just the older cleric, just looking at me with disgust.
While you are helping, big quotes there, Kothar, you march on down into the cellar, and you see a book go, a fairly sizable tome go flying past, and a sound of pure exasperation. As Quelena, you have found a book with a title beginning with Z in the A section.
Oh, come on! Really? What? How did someone even find a way to put it here? If it was an S, I would understand, but in A? Oh, you're here. What are you doing here?
Kothar just stands in the doorway looking at her.
She will kind of look annoyed for a moment.
Hello. I've come for your soul.
I didn't actually hear what you said. I mean,
Your soul. It's filed under S, not under C.
She will kind of look at you annoyed, tap her foot like twice, and then just go back to arranging the books and say, I have no time for this. I need to save your petty ass.
Yes, I know. Have you cleaned up the D section?
She will turn towards him and use the major image that she has around as an action to kind of be on her eyes and make it look like it's burning.
No, seriously. I see you're working on the A section, but have you made a section for the D letters yet? I'm looking for demonic possessions and you, a how-to guide.
Demonic possessions for dummies.
She will kind of look at you and kind of for a moment you will see like Quelena kind of trying to recall if she's seen anything in the D that even was resembling that. Did I by now? I mean, just do you want me to roll for that?
Yeah, roll on 1d20.
Sure. That was an awesome roll. I think I did.
Oh,
I know everything about it now.
Yeah, that's a critical miss. On that. That's one. Good.
So I will.
No, absolutely not. You haven't even found a single book yet that has a D as the first letter.
I'm not sure there is a section of D. I'm not sure they actually know that D is a letter in here. They don't know how to organize stuff. What the hell is wrong with these people?
Maybe I should help you out a bit then.
Do you know even something about organizing books?
Yes.
If you do mistakes, you correct them. And she will go
That's
back to
okay.
searching for her stuff.
But I can't help but notice that these are mostly crates of books. Perhaps we should actually make some shelves?
There are actual shelves on the walls. The one's
That's
They're just
probably,
empty?
organizing,
one's
I'm
probably
guessing.
used for foodstuffs and that sort of stuff. Mostly.
I'm guessing that's
but-
where I'm organizing it.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. There are
Well-
also like these like hand carts that have also been like piled atop each other to act as like makeshift shelves.
I'm guessing I would use the mage hand to actually organize every moment. I mean, instead of running through the place, you will just see the mage hand just shoving things from here to there. because she actually gave up on trying to walk every time to the shelf and stuff. So she will just pick up, look, okay, that goes there.
Kotar will immediately pick up on that and do the same thing with Mage Hand.
At first, she will kind of try to look out of the corner of her eyes if he's actually arranging the right order. And if he's not, she will actually yell at him every time he does a mistake. The A comes before the B. Come on.
Yeah, this common tongue alphabet is so odd. Why can't it be in proper Elvish?
They don't know anything about languages. Look at how they organize books. It says everything about these people. I'm not sure they even appreciate what they have here.
Yeah, I mean, look over there. There's actually a D and a U.
She will just turn back and start organizing the books again, looking annoyed as hell.
They had to.
I think there's actually a couple of these in you.
Well, that we know.
I'm not sure what a D&D is, but okay.
Okay. The two of you are now busy organizing the books
Actually,
together.
before we continue to organize, I will tell him the topic that I'm searching, so he can actually, if he seen anything, he can actually tell me. Because if he skips that book and I need it, I won't be happy. The tome that I found, the interesting tome of all the knowledge there, I will use my major image to kind of make it look like a different book, so he won't touch it.
Okay. All right.
That's okay.
The book of infinite linear knowledge becomes the a book of gnomish riddles.
Yeah, or maybe the ABC book, just kind of mess with him. Why is there an ABC? Okay, never mind.
The big book of ABC.
Yeah, all the ABC. Yeah, so
But hey, at least it will go twice as fast to organize this now.
twice as fast, yes. We can bring Champ and then it will be going
Half as
backwards.
fast.
Okay. So, before we decide on some downtime activities,
Mhm.
which I pretty much know already what you guys are probably going to be doing, Champ, let's have a look at your office, I suppose. After meeting with Harren outside the tower, you make your way to the Parliament building, which is like a couple of blocks away from the Circle of Life tower.
I don't have anything with me, right? He's following me.
Yeah, as well as
Cool.
all of the scribes, obviously, as well as
The temporary
Eloy.
scribes.
And they all follow along as Eloy leads you to the Parliament building, which is this like very like kind of like Greek inspired, like big pillars and all that jazz, like a huge like rectangle on all sides, surrounded by these pillars holding up a huge roof. Except that this one also has a large dome at one far side, almost like the dome at the Vatican, if you think of that. Like,
yeah, the forum. No, the forum is not the one.
that's not the forum. I think it's these. I don't remember. Anyways, so It's essentially like the Acropolis, except that there's a huge dome. Good. There you go. That's the building. And as you go past these huge pillars on either side in 3 tiers, and up these large marble steps, you go into a very classically designed huge hall that goes through the entire length of the building, which isn't actually very long, considering that there is like this entrance hall and then a garden that goes from the there's like this inside courtyard in the middle, and then a garden that goes all the way to where the dome structure is, almost like a like an aftermarket installation of a tower in the middle of this classical building. And you go through the very quiet garden. There is this eerie sensation as you walk along, as there is no sound aside from what you make. Then as soon as you get to the tower at the far end of the garden, you enter into essentially the administration building, and everything changes in architecture from a classical, fairly toned down and bust-filled hallways that were inside the entrance hall, and now it's like everything's gilded and more like Renaissance flair, that sort of stuff. There are a couple of gnomish trinkets nearby. There's a cuckoo clock on the wall, which has been made inactive by removing the weight that pulls the inside mechanism. So the doors are completely open, and there's this taxidermied pigeon, to say, yeah, it's an actual pigeon that is peeking out through the door mid squawk. You go past it and up this staircase to the second floor, where you are then led to these huge gilded doors, on which is a relief of a pair of swords that have been crossed, pointed down and crossed over like city gates, essentially. And on the right beside the door, there is a blue cloak who is hurrying to fit this little placard onto a little slit on the door. And he arranges it just right before quickly moving aside and opening the door for you. You notice that...
What does it say?
The placard. Yeah, it says Boral Shump, Lord Protector.
Cool. So there's no like. I'm sorry, by the way. That's not a strangling pigeon or something. If you can hear that sound, it's not an animal in distress. It's actually just an air mattress being blown up. So there's no
So you claim
misspelling, or it actually says Boral Shump.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then I have no.
If there is one thing that these people are meticulous with, it is the correct spelling of things.
Cool. Noted.
You were muted, but I think I have a good idea on what you just said, Torm.
It's still muted?
Not anymore.
Yeah, it was.
I said it's not noticeable in their book order.
Yeah,
I said the same thing and I was muted, so.
Arrangement and writing well are two different things. So,
And also
We can
probably a
spell.
book.
so Champ, the door opens for you and the people following you dutifully. And you enter into this oval-shaped sitting room with two of these like Roman-style sofas with like one armrest on one side, and there's like this sweeping backrest, and there are two of those faced opposite one another, and a couple of seats arranged in the middle of the room itself. There are bookshelves all around, as well as like paintings, very imposing paintings of previous Lord Protectors, as well as a bust of the very first Lord Protector. And then you are led through another door into the Lord Protector's office, which is completely fashioned with wood paneled insides, with like dark lacquered wood, and these huge velvet, blue velvet curtains that bear the blue cloaks emblem on it. And there is a huge mahogany table at the far end with a large leather seat, and you can barely actually see the leather seat because there are these stacks of paper. There are baskets arranged one next to the other on the table, all of them labeled in, and there's one empty basket labeled out beside them, and the baskets with the in label are stacked as high as you can probably have them stacked without having them like suddenly tip over. And in the corner of the office, there is a suit of armor.
Take the armor and run away.
Yeah, flee.
It's mine!
So,
The pla-
Aaron,
Yes.
you haven't done your job, have you?
Well, you asked me to handle affairs not a few minutes ago.
Weren't you the Lord Protector before me?
No?
Oh my god. So I'm basically... I inherited a responsibility. I thought this was from you. I could have sworn it was from you. How much backlog am I looking at? When was the last Lord Protector in this office?
The Lord Protector was killed in the first assault. That must have been several weeks ago. These
Looks
are
like
all
it.
I think these are all combat reports.
I see, so lists of fallen and...
Actually, this basket looks like it is condolence letters.
Guess I have a lot of those to do.
Mm.
Okay. So, you were not the Lord Protector.
Oh no.
Why did you deem me worthy of that title?
Because I'm not gonna take the job.
I see.
Look
So
at
this
this
was...
mound of paperwork.
Oh, believe me, I've seen it. Yeah. Wow. This is humbling, to say the least. Do you at least have a debriefing for me that would be semi-useful compared to these condolences letters and combat reports and God knows what else. This is probably half a forest.
Well, these are the briefs. However, you already know how matters are for the most part in the city. The battle itself is won.
Now it's just fixing everything. Cool.
Yes.
Why does the Lord Protector...
returning the people to the city, returning infrastructure back to the level it was.
He looks to the scribes.
Have you sent the ravens?
The ravens?
Send a message to every city we have refugees in and bring them back. The city is safe, and we are having a feast, celebrating our victory. Do that now. This is a priority. Aaron, why is the Lord Protector's office / house / small village so fucking huge and flamboyant?
Oh, this is the Parliament building, actually. The Parliament of Nobles, the ruling council in essence, meets in the top floor of this building, the circular building we are in. There are administrative offices as well in this one, and the main building around us, the one with older architecture, that is a museum these days, as well as a place of more public meetings as necessary. It is also where the committees used to meet.
Is the committee still present in the city?
The committees are, the people on the committees are not.
I see. And how many representatives do we have from the different departments in the Parliament building?
None.
None. We will have a...
Well, you have the guard captain that is technically part of
Yes, Elwick,
the
you are
administration.
very valued.
However, normally the ruling council is composed of nobility that has been elected by the nobility into office.
Well, we need an election ASAP. We will have it during the feast.
So far, I am the only noble in the city that has any ties to Mintar. There
But
might be
everyone
some
else is dead.
refugees, but most of them, I think, have perished.
All right, so I am the Lord Commander, and I basically set down
Lord
laws.
Protector.
Lord Protector, I'm sorry. I have been watching this book, reading this book, watching the covers. Something
watching
about
the
a
book?
night watch. Yes, it was a night watch. Something. Sorry. Lord Protector, I basically lay down the law, right? Whatever I say goes.
For now, at least, yes.
We should have an election. We should change that requirement from the noble. We should have those that best fit the position to be in the council and be representatives of the departments.
That is a very lofty goal.
It is elected by the people, for the people. Make Faerun great again. I can see it now.
That is a very radical change.
Aren't you the only noble man left in the council?
Yes, and
So you're speaking on behalf of the entire council, aren't you? You are, basically. So when I say you should change your ways, or the people, the council should change their ways, I'm basically talking like you, because you're the only one left.
I'm not a council member.
Yeah, well, okay, you're the nobility.
At this moment, I am your, I suppose, personal assistant. I believe
I
that
would
is
say
what-
advisor, maybe. Or debriefer. Or, I don't know. we need to hold a meeting first. Get the people back to Mintar. And we will have to look at that airship. No place to park it. Sorry. Chimichangas.
Okay. So, Jump is getting down to business.
Yes, and also during that downtime, I will be starting to take down names and writing condolences letters and going through combat reports and trying to get those.
Going
Wow.
to be very interesting to see what happens when you introduce democracy to that kind of age.
So there is no democracy whatsoever here? We were in the parliament building.
Yeah, of the nobility.
Of the nobility. Okay, so maybe I'll have to think about this.
It's
We'll
more,
have to
it's
figure
more like
something
a
out.
small council.
Well, I mean, next thing you're going to say the women are allowed to vote.
Oh, God, no. That's
You're
going
crazy.
too far.
First, dogs needs to vote. Then we will talk about women.
This will be very interesting.
Good. So,
And Torm, I left a nice message for you in chat.
Chat? Ah, okay.
okay. So,
Follow us on YouTube.
So, Shump, you are leading Mintar during your town time. Kozar and Kolena, you are studying, as is Crambo. Crambo is poring over everything you brought back with you from the
And
catacombs.
how's the torture going?
You're muted, Dobson. Just in case you don't know.
I didn't know. Torture? What torture?
The
The prisoner.
the prisoner of war.
Yeah, I probably should check in on him.
Well, someone was going to handle it. I'm sure they'll have found something out by now.
I believe you
I
tied
think-
him over to the Blue Cloaks.
I'm sure someone has already had enough of a handle on that man for anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be probably finishing our rounds in the infirmary and then checking in with the local interrogators.
Sure. So,
With a fresh bottle of...
Whiskey.
Yes.
Every
Just
interrogation
walk
in dwarves starts with the whiskey.
I'm holding one bottle like that, looking at it like, there's about a third left. Grabs another bottle. This one's for the road.
alright. Do you leave the airship floating up next to the Circle of Life Tower?
Who specifically are you asking?
All of us.
Any of you?
Well, I don't know. Has the Lord Protector made any rulings on
My
parking
scribes are just talentless idiots. That's not getting down to business. So I'm guessing that the airship is still standing there. Circle of Life.
We might as well unload the guards and have them do their thing normally, and also just leave it vacant. It's not exactly going anywhere.
Mm.
Turns out that we are actually paying for that.
That's okay.
Let's just
Go.
put out.
Says who?
They
Yeah.
can dock it from your pay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no
I
problem.
was going to say, it says who?
Exactly. I
The
was
ship's
told.
Captain is
I was
currently near
told.
the Lord Protector of the city.
Exactly. This is a fucking paradox.
No,
I was
this
told
is the
that
part where he probably says something half-baked that airships shouldn't pay docking fees. We don't need to. and Mintar is going to miss out on a lot of future revenue.
Yeah.
You're establishing new laws here.
I said that we were gonna have to figure that out and pay that. We also figured out that there was not a lot of income from that exact spot. We will figure this out.
To be honest, you can say that it's your vehicle and that you shouldn't pay for it.
For
Because you
all I
saved the
know, I
city.
probably have some gilded horse out in the lawn somewhere. Who knows? I'm
Has
very
a gilded
extravagant.
horse?
The gilded horse.
No, but you do have a fancy set of armor in your office.
I do have an armor.
Speaking of which, everybody roll a 1d100.
With my rolls, it will be a 1. No, I was close. Look at that.
Ooh.
Shump, you're
Shump.
beating me. How did you do it? He's cheating.
Why would you do that, Shump? Why? I beg of you.
That was not the one I was supposed. Can I do that? I have that thing with a fighter that I can re-roll.
No,
Some
No.
checks and saving throws.
no,
No.
no.
Can I use lucky?
If you really wanted to.
Well, I will.
Uh,
Just for the funs of it.
Those are some low rolls. Wow. There you go.
Hey,
finally a over 25 roll. Okay. Let's start with the lowest and go up.
Why did it
Jump.
roll my... Never mind.
Jump. Over the next days. Okay. Over the next 10 days, as you are settling into Mintar, taking care of your business, handling these cities, rebound, so to speak, you handle things quite badly on a personal level. Fortunately, you have Harren and Eloig, as well as Crambo eventually, to kind of like pick up the slack afterwards. You definitely guide the city on like the broad issues towards where you'd like. However, the stress is burning down on you. Make a wisdom saving throw.
And that's how Boral Shump dies. From stress. That's an epic tale of Boral Shump dying of stress.
Heart attack. Oh, nice.
Can I re-roll that? I have that thing.
With wisdom?
Does it apply
Yes.
to wisdom saving throws?
Any saving
Applies
throw.
to any saving throw.
Yeah, then yeah.
But I have to use the next one. Okay, I'm gonna
That's
use
a
that.
13, lucky
Yes.
number, right?
A little
Um,
better.
Are you wearing the
Yes.
the coronet?
The armor. Oh, yes. The coronet, yes. And also the ring, yes.
The coronet and the ring? Okay. Good. While you're out and about doing your usual things in the Lord Protector's office and the administration building, the Parliament House in general, you start seeing these flashes of a of a pile of coins crashing down on you. It takes on the form of a dragon composed entirely of coins, or not so much a dragon as a worm, a great worm. It has no legs, it has no wings, just kind of slithers around with the head of a dragon. And when you like turn a corner very quickly, you feel like woozy for a second and have this image of a dragon made of, or the worm made of coins just crashing down on you and then dissipating completely. You also feel a burning sensation in your mind, more like one of those things that tells you that you left an oven on, essentially. Like one of those nagging doubts inside your head, calling you back towards the fortress, up along the Thornwash. The one where you met Mordrain and were
Stop. There where I
whacked.
kicked his ass.
Where you met
Yes.
Mordrain.
Where I kicked his ass.
Sure. Regarding the plate armor, you are afforded knowledge regarding that.
Well, that is very, very generous of you because I really need knowledge and wisdom.
I'm gonna show that to all of you players. You usually aren't very
Secretive? No.
Yeah.
I do look like a chump. Yes, quite.
On the let's see. On the third day after you've taken office, Shump, you start seeing refugees returning to the city. First, a majority of the ones from Nightstone are returning. Some from Sailmore as well. You have started hearing reports from Blue Cloaks that have been out scouting, as well as like the few hunters in the refugees that return back and start going back to their daily business. They tell tales of refugees returning from the roads from Saradush and Tethir towards the west, as well as Yeshpek and the other cities in the border kingdoms to the south. So refugees are returning back to the city, and a majority of them return within the 10 days that have passed. You also receive a letter that comes by a rider on the 9th day, and it is a sealed letter, sealed with the emblem of the Nantars.
Sealed with a kiss.
No. Sealed with the emblem of the Nantars, and you tear it open and unfold the letter to discover nothing on the paper except for lipstick marks. Someone has planted a kiss on the page and then sent it off to you.
She misses me. I knew it. Gonna have to visit my bae or make her visit me now that I'm a man of stature.
I really need to do that major image on top of the tower, don't I?
See, who was next? Kothar was next. Kothar, you find some simple knowledge regarding demonic possessions in the library, but none of them really match your condition so much. They are relating to possessions of demons on another plane of existence that kind of find a host to at least temporarily take over. Your case is more of a you actually have a demon inside you. Roll a 1d20. Okay. During your meditations, every night that you do meditate, you feel a warm glow inside you that doesn't necessarily like try and get out so much anymore. It is a more constrained feeling of something just kind of like sitting wrong inside you. There are moments, yeah, kind of, yeah. There are moments during these meditations when you are like descending into it or coming back out of your meditations. There are moments when you feel it more clearly inside you. Moments when it, for brief seconds, assaults your senses. But you have a sensation that it isn't necessarily intentional. It's like a sensation of like two halves of you waking up at the same time, basically. So there's this point where they meet and clash for a moment, and then again you rise as the dominant figure, so to speak, without the other so much as trying to rush in and take over. Niniak confirms this happening as well. Niniak has a telepathic connection to you while you sleep and does not require sleep itself necessarily, although it does rest and like hibernate essentially. Its senses to you are always active, and it tells you that there are moments when it can hear someone else whispering while you are waking from your meditations, but it is never anything loud or untoward necessarily.
Does he ever catch the words being whispered?
On occasion, yes. They are very faint words. However, they, in general, the gist appears to be something akin to reunite. But that's only one word in a short litany that just kind of comes and goes. That's the only word that Niniak has been able to pick out as being like this constant among them.
Disturbing.
Crambo has also, within the first 5 days or so, has been able to go over all of the notes and cross-reference everything he's needed to. He tells you that the notes are largely incomplete, but would suggest that there is no like real way of extracting the demon from inside you, unless there is some sort of sacrifice involved. The crystal would be a very temporary solution at best. The crystal that you found is a hold on. I need to check this. Yes. The crystalline stuff you found is actually called Silima, or Silima. It is a very rare, often used by elves, as a very archaic kind of magical conduit type of crystal. It would be suitable for hosting demon for only a day or two at most. But to extract the demon from you would require you to kill yourself, essentially, or someone to kill you in a ritualistic fashion. The alternative is to meet with Mordrain, actually. According to the notes, a bearer of one sliver of the demon can draw the sliver out of another carrier. Usually this is done through ritualistic killing, but there are a couple of cases where it is mentioned that it is able to be done while carriers are still alive.
But would that also not imply that Mordrain could do the same?
Yes.
And he has probably a lot more experience doing it.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, you can. Unless there's more, you can proceed with one of the others while I ponder it.
Okay. Then we get to Rohirden next.
Yes.
Yes. Rohirden.
Mm-hmm.
You have been busy going around helping the clerics. Most of the less severely wounded are starting to get back to their feet throughout the week. The Circle of Life tower itself returns to a certain amount of normalcy. There are again these religious customs that are being followed each day, as these injured people are slowly being moved out of the tower. The most severely injured remain because they don't dare move them, but they are fairly few, only a dozen or so. During your stay in the tower as well, the clerics appeared to hold some sort of a meeting that lasts for about 3 days. After which you find some of the more knowledgeable healers among the group you've been working alongside start wearing this onyx stone on their necks or around their necks, with these silver chains that have large silver plates placed at their chest and on their shoulders. They appear to be some sort of a rank distinguishing method, although the clerics in general don't really change their attitude towards these clerics. After the meeting, and as a matter of fact, the clerics that have started wearing these necklaces invite you to celebrate with them the very next night, actually. There are a group of 6 of them that have started wearing it. There are 4 women, 2 men, and they essentially corner you one day after you've done your rounds, and they tell you, we would be very pleased if you could join us. The presence of your lady of Sune would be very welcome in our celebrations. We celebrate life in this tower. It is good to see life return, and now that we have been elected to lead, we should start things off the right way.
Join them.
Okay.
Accept in rotation.
Sure.
Find the biggest cask of ale I can.
Yeah. So, you find yourself the next night in the topmost floor of tower, with this group of 6. They have prepared a large room, the same where they met up, essentially. They've filled it with pillows and blankets and all sorts of little decorations here and there. And they have brought out a couple of kegs themselves of ale, as well as plenty of bottles of wine. And they invite you to bless the start of their duties as leaders of the Circle of Life, in the ways that a Sunite would do.
Short version, just a big orgy.
Yeah. The door is locked, and there are moans that echo throughout the Circle of Life tower throughout the next day or so.
Shush! I'm trying to learn here.
Remove the D's out of you.
Is there anything else you, Roherden, would have liked to have done in the past 10 days?
See what knowledge and information I could have got from the prisoner, who was quite literally fisted.
So, you go and have a chat with the Blue Cloaks that handled that, as well as the clerics that handled the other affairs of tending to his
vigorous wound.
Yes.
Rectum.
His unfortunate playing outness. The damage is not permanent, they assure you.
Well, some of it is.
However, he will forevermore be having some trouble holding.
Partying with sound.
Yeah. The Blue Cloaks would tell you that they recovered information regarding the man's affiliation with a woman named Brasinia, who they believe was a member of the Circle of Life, who has since disappeared from the city completely. It appears that the man's entire his intention in the city was to recover an artifact of some kind underneath the city and use it as a focus that he could then use for a ritual to open a large portal into the Shadowfell. And unfortunately, that ritual required the Moonlight District's mixed population of elves and dwarves to diminish to the point of essentially genocide as far as the population in this city is concerned.
I will probably take time to relay this information to, if not Shump, then Quilena and Kothar. Seeing as Shump's a little busy. If I can get to Shump with how busy he is.
You know what we should do? This is just a general proposal. We should get a mental bond to everyone in Mintar, like a phone of sorts. Everyone could get to me whenever they want. Just a thought. I miss being telepathically.
That sounds like an incredibly bad idea.
That depends on who you ask.
So you really want to be at the beck and call of some 20,000 people?
Now that I think about it, maybe not. But we should have that mentally telepathic bond back up and running.
So, Rohirden, when you try and get to the Shump, Harren actually tells you that there is already a brief over the interrogation sitting on Shump's desk. That is, Shump is making great headway in getting to the brief. Will eventually get to it. He gives you 2 thumbs up and then ushers you out quickly so you don't distract Shump with anything.
He needs us to do that.
Over the several days that he's been handling Shump's books essentially and handling his more detailed affairs, he has started to get the hang of figuring out how fickle Shump can be on occasion upon learning new information. And Shump appears to have some sort of necessity to rush headlong into calling out the birds, sending messages, and shouting out at the world.
Only for the refugees and stuff. Also, what are you doing here? I thought I fired you.
I hope I have cleansed the ranks of the scribes, hired the right scribe for the job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are now 4 scribes handling different aspects of whatever you say in the room at all times.
Very nice.
One dedicated to rating his farts.
No, there are actually 3 of them that detail different aspects, and the 4th is like a sensor that goes with an extra wide quill and just like
That's my favorite.
he draws like these big black bars into the notes of the others whenever necessary.
He just gets handed page after page after they're finished filling them, and he just goes through and goes, redacted, redacted, redacted.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. You also find out that the old man that you captured is called Near the Meek.
Oh, he's going to be extra meek now.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how upset is he that he was not the final sacrifice?
On a scale of 1 to 10, he's a 10. It's actually probably an 11. But he can't vocalize that since he has suffered recent tragedy regarding his insides.
If he sits down too fast, he will burp.
If he sits down too fast, everything's falling out. Never mind burping.
So, then, Juana.
Yes.
Over the first let's see. Over the first 2 or 3 days after Shump took the oath of office, you managed to get the cellar neatly organized into a proper library, and you have discovered some fairly basic books regarding giant kind. A lot of them are recollections of like oral histories from different more tribal sections of society, but a few of them detail more in depth the culture of giants, I suppose.
Okay. Did I find anything about the kind that I'm seeking?
There are no notes regarding cloud giants, but they are fairly scarce in further detail because cloud giants are known to not really mingle with the other races or surfacers in general. They prefer their cities in the clouds high above everything.
So, since Rohirthan actually informed me of what is happening with the prisoner, Quilena will actually look into the Shadowfell and maybe try to do a cross-reference with the giants. See if I can find anything that cross-references with like maybe a historic thing that happened that might have given some clues as to what it might have to do with one another.
All right. After another 2 days or so, you find that there are very little cross-referencing between the Shadowfell stuff that you do manage to find and the giant stuff.
What do I find about the Shadowfell regarding knowledge that my character would know?
You find more books and recorded stories that seem to more or less confirm what you already know from previous readings of like theories and that sort of stuff during your time.
What is exactly the Shadowfell as far as my character is concerned?
The Shadowfell is another plane of existence, or kind of like a mirror plane, I suppose, that mirrors the surface world you are in, except it twists everything into a corrupted and shadowy dark realm, essentially. It is a realm of monsters, and whoever goes there is threatened to be corrupted by the darkness that lies in there.
Would my character safely be able to assume that whatever is in the sky, that big thing, has something to do with the Shadowfell?
Absolutely. You would have you would have heard of this kind of structure before as well, because there was a
Is it an opening to the Shadowfell?
The tower itself is not. However, there are records, many records regarding an actual city of shadow that came out of the Shadowfell at one point as a last echo of a great Netherese empire, the same people that created the Mythalar.
Did I find anything regarding how can I close such a place? How can I stop such a thing from keep being open?
The tower itself is not actually any kind of like emanation from the Shadowfell necessarily. It is a physical thing in the sky. It was
but it's built on shadow clouds.
Yeah.
Is there a way to I don't mind the physical structure, but I want it to not be based on Shadowfell.
Yeah. It is a very long process of cleansing the taint of the Shadowfell from anything. It is a process of more like divine magic, either that or dispelling effects as you can find them, more or less. So it takes a lot of time. However, from what you can understand through the books and stuff, once creatures or items come out of the Shadowfell, even though they may be tainted by the corruption of the Shadowfell, they themselves can't really spread it anymore. You would require an active opening for that to happen. So it stands to assume that you would be able to like even live in the tower in the sky if you wanted to, without really being at danger.
So since I've discovered all this, I think I'm guessing that this is my final day before it ends. Quilena will actually ask 2-3 guards to accompany her. And she will go to the closest point to the tower in the sky, and just tell them to protect her while she will check what is going on with that thing. She wants to actually know what is going on with this thing. And she will do a mislead and use the illusion to fly up and check this place out.
Okay. So, before we go in there, does anyone else want to do anything else with their...
I think Kothar didn't finish his.
There are two things he'll want to do. First of all, I'm guessing since that quarter that held most of the elves is particularly empty, that's where he would go and look for a amulet of Corellum, one of those silver six-pointed stars.
Mm.
He'd use... Like, do I have locate object? No, I don't have on this character. Well, he'd go and... They're typical items of worship, so they tend not to be hidden.
Yeah, we generally know. A lot of the bodies that might be carrying the amulets have been already at this point like disposed of, generally speaking. However, there are a few like particularly elven neighborhoods essentially in the district where you find a little not so much temples as like shrines to Corellon, and at one of them you would be able to find one without even so much as a roll, really. They are common enough that you would be able to find one.
Good. And he'll start wearing that, and as he's donning it, he'll just whisper kind of a prayer to Corellon, but it'll be, watch over me. I will not disappoint you. And then he's going to go and gloat in the face of the prisoner. He's just going to walk in there and just stand there and look at him. He's not going to say anything, just stand there completely neutral, looking at him and see how he reacts. Maybe he'll spout something interesting or useful in his rage.
Okay. So you enter the cell where the prisoner is being held, and he first of all shields his eyes as the light streams in from the outside of his cell, from the hallway, and then he turns to look at you and instantly grovels before you. He goes on his hands and knees and tightens up into as little ball as he can and lowers his head to the filthy floor of the cell.
Rise.
He remains there.
The meek indeed. Was it Sister Brasinia that led you to do these actions, or have you ever been in contact with Mordrain?
He slowly looks up at you and says, "It doesn't matter now."
It matters to me.
He looks actually like he looks up at you, but he isn't really looking at you. You can tell from his eyes that he's looking like either straight through you or past you a little bit.
1,000-yard stare.
Not so much 1,000-yard stare as he is almost as if he's looking at something directly behind you.
Now we're really going to pay attention to how he's acting.
Make a perception check. Okay. You can see his lips quivering a little bit. They are like opening and closing in a rapid fashion, although there is no sound coming out. He's looking definitely at something that is almost like directly behind you. And he splays himself out just a little bit more, almost as if he is now less groveling and more bowing in reverence.
How much contact did you have with Sister Brasinia? Grand total counting.
He, while his lips are still moving this a little bit, he shakes his head.
Were you part of sullying the temple of Erdri Fania?
His eyes for just a brief moment focus on you, and he shakes his head again, and then return to looking like straight through you.
Yeah. I've had my questions, so he's gonna turn and leave.
Okay. You turn and leave, and as you are like shutting the door behind you, you can hear him like rushing to the door, but he doesn't try to get out. Instead, he like knocks on the door. There is this little like latch opening through which you can see inside, but it is closed. You also managed to close the door without any issue.
I'll turn and look at him.
Okay. You open the slidden door, and he's right there, face pressed against the slit, his eyes wide, and you hear his muffled voice say, "There can only be one."
I know, and it'll not be you, because you failed.
The power was not mine. Too weak.
No.
Too meek.
Oh,
Now
indeed.
you
You
carry
couldn't
it.
even kill yourself. That is impressive.
Now you carry it, and you will unite them. You will
So you think.
release. And then he slowly like slides down, and you hear him cackling inside.
I'm actually going to slide the amulet of Lathander into him.
Okay.
Now would be a good time to ask forgiveness. Lathander seems like the appropriate one.
You hear a strange maniacal hissing, and then something clattering against the wall.
Lathander would be upset, but he is forgiving. I'll close the latch and go back.
Okay.
And I'll need to now actually talk to Eloig, I believe. He seems to be the most in the loop.
Eloig, huh? Okay.
Yeah, because I just noticed something in a very old journal that we have.
Did you?
Yes, and it's been bothering me for a while.
What would that be? You are
The
able to find
fact-
Eloig without any issue.
Eloig, is there a temple in this city to the goddess Erdrifenia?
Not anymore. There was one centuries ago. It's now been consecrated for. Oh, I think it was for Torm. But there is one in a nearby village. Some ways down the coast towards the south, in the mountains.
Yeshbek, or one not upon the map?
Yashbek is a city. The town is roughly halfway down the road to Yashbek. I believe the shrine there is visited by Arakokra from the Halamir Mountains.
Yes, because someone who we dealt with long ago was brought there to meet Sister Brasinia. It might be a valid place to see what connection is tying all of this together. I'll show him the journal entry in Gwyleth's journal.
Hmm. Well, you will read through it and then ask, what kind of significance do you think this has?
Before Mordrain was released, someone was leading to that release. Something's been at the works in the background of this. Someone led them to believe they could actually harness the Nightstone. Someone corrupted Gwyleth before that, knowing that they would go for the Nightstone. And that someone was Sister Brasinia. As for Sister Brasinia, she is most likely dead. I would direct you to the remains of the strangely burnt corpse at the entrance where we went in. A demon-possessed fanatic, I would suppose, perished there.
That is quite the tale. I've only known Sister Brasinia for a few months, I suppose. That is when she, I suppose, became a more prominent member in the Circle of Life.
Yes, all of this built up so that the events taking place in Mintar might even have started before Mordrain was released from the prison.
That could very well be possible. Digging into the catacombs would have taken quite a lot of time.
Yes, someone has been preparing for this before Mordrain was released, and that someone was not Mordrain.
Have you told Eloig about the demon?
Within me?
In general.
I haven't. Question is how much Crambo would have mentioned it.
I don't think Crambo would have told him a peep.
I would have done. I think then it's maybe a good idea to bring Eloig up to speed, as well as Heron. And also, we haven't actually shown this journal to Crambo. Because they are pieces of a puzzle that is now stretching back in time.
Yeah.
Who is this mastermind? Because there clearly is one.
Very interesting. So, while you are gathering everyone together into this meeting, I suppose the best possible place for it would be probably Shump's office. You wanted to bring everyone together.
That has a nice ring to it. Chump's office.
That would also make it quite official.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we gather everyone there, though, Helena,
Yes.
you are heading off in search of answers from the Shadow Tower.
Yes, and I'm using First Rare's telepathic bond, so they actually can communicate if there's any trouble.
Yeah.
And I will explain to them to use their mind, not their speech. Yeah.
Okay. So your illusory self floats on up to the sky, and
Actually, you know what? Before I fly up as the illusory self, I will use my I will kind of turn back to myself as the illusion is in front of me. Use my malleable illusions to just shape it like a small eye,
okay.
and then take it up. So if someone sees it, it will just think that it's nothing. I mean, just an eye.
Okay, sure. So there's a floating eye heading to the sky. Yeah.
I'm taking some inspiration from World of Warcraft. Kilrog's eye.
Wow. It's a really kooky party.
Truly.
So your eye enters the shadowy tower. There is basically 3 levels to it. There is a middle floor where there is a walkway that has been sheared off, which would have probably connected to the larger tower. Then there is a 1 floor below it and 1 floor above it.
I would start with the one below it.
Mm-hmm. And the structure of it is like in a slightly zigzaggy pattern. So
do I see anyone when I enter? Is there like any guards or anything?
It is completely deserted inside. What you see inside is a very well furnished, although very very dark place. Despite the sunlight streaming in from the outside, the structure here appears to almost absorb it entirely. So there is light coming in through the window, but there is it doesn't really reflect on the inside surface. Just kind of dulls all of the light. And as you enter, the first thing you see is a carpet on this circular floor, and there is the carpet is like a panther's skin, except that there are a set of tentacles that drape from its almost like the shoulders, the back area, and drapes over.
Does it seem alive?
No, it's been cut open and like
No, not
splayed
the,
out.
the panther. I mean the tentacles.
The tentacles? No. They're part of the skin.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, they're one and the same. You can see that even from afar that there is no visible seam. It's all part of the same skin.
Okay. Just for curiosity's sake, I will use since it's an illusion, I can go through stuff. So I will try to kind of look beneath the rug, if there's anything that it's hiding.
There is a a small teleportation circle on the inside, which you notice instantly isn't really like. It isn't really necessarily meant as a teleportation circle, or the arcane runes around don't match a normal teleportation circle.
What would can I like roll something to try and match what it means? I mean, to understand why it's different.
Yeah, you can roll an Arcana check.
All right, let's go with that. Arcana.
So, this circle is more like a poor imitation, even like a practice circle or an example circle instead
But
of
it's not real
one.
runes?
It's not real runes. So someone has more or less made a facsimile of a teleportation circle. It has no magical power, although it has been drawn crudely in the same style.
Would things from the Shadowfell be a poor imitation of the reality?
In some ways, but not probably in this.
No, but I mean, if, for example, it was transported to our realm, would it look for us to be an imitation that isn't correct?
No, it would still be similar enough that it wouldn't seem
completely off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Just
would
make
look
sure that it's not like
most creatures look monstrous or like billowing, shadowy, and so on.
What else is in this room then?
In the room, it is actually barren aside from the carpet, and right beside the carpet there is a hole in the floor, quite large, and that leads to the bottom floor, and then directly above it there is a hole in the ceiling that leads up to the top.
As though they have planned for this eye to travel. All right, let's go down.
Yeah. You have read in your book that cloud giants can actually just like fly up and down. They have no
So is it a
necessity
very big hole?
Yes, it's definitely big enough for a cloud giant to come and just like float up and down as they please. They really wanted to.
Just from the writings that I know, would cloud giants leave their place? I mean, are they normally creatures that like would leave their place empty?
They are fairly whimsical in nature, yeah.
Okay.
They can just up and leave one place in favor of finding another. They really wanted to. They are also known a fair bit as tricksters as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I will go down with my eye and see what I can see there.
The bottom floor is what seems like a storage space, actually. There are all sorts of little knickknacks and small items. There are these puzzle cubes that have been dismantled and set onto a table essentially like in the order of what was taken out where.
Does it seem like the puzzle box from
Frambo's room.
Frambo's room? Because I actually have it on me, so I can actually compare.
It's not quite the same. And these are more like a kind of like a rotating sections. The one Crambo has like all sorts of different movement combined into a really elaborate one.
Just was wondering if the evil Crambo was involved.
There are also like there's a large telescope that has been set aside. There
Where did it aim
is
to?
it doesn't aim anywhere. It's
Oh.
been like set aside against the wall. There is a very ornate frame for a painting, but there is no painting. And there is a grandfather clock that isn't ticking. That is clearly very, very well made. There is a large wicker basket with a closed lid.
Yeah.
And as you get closer to it, you hear some sort of a strange hissing from inside.
I will poke my eye in. Hello.
You see a large coiled up snake.
Does it seem like a regular snake?
Kind of, yeah. It definitely looks ordinary, but it is abnormally large.
Just a weird question. Does it
looks
seem
like a cobra.
like it hasn't eaten for a while?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay.
It is also like somewhat shadowy in nature. It looks like the scales have started to like change into scales made out of shadow.
Note to self: do not open the box. I go back and see if there's anything other knickknacks that might interest Quilena.
There is a shelf that has 3 glass jars on it, and inside is some sort of a fluid, and inside the fluid are one eye in each.
Does this eye seem like a creature I would know? I mean, is it bigger? Is it smaller? Is it like from compared to humanoid?
Roll a Arcana or a nature check.
I will go Arcana. I will use the luck point.
Okay.
On a 19.
Okay, 21.
Yes.
It's still better. You spend some time in the library. These eyes seem fairly familiar to you.
I can't locate what it is.
Yeah, it's about the right size to be a beholder's eye in each of these. They have been expertly removed and sealed up in these jars. They are in excellent condition.
Do beholder eyes retain their I mean, would the beholder eyes be useful for any magical practices that I know of?
You would imagine so, but honestly, most people don't survive a meeting with a beholder, so there are very few occasions where you can hazard to find out.
Well, I can see a place that I can get a few. I'm not saying that. All right, so that's one thing. All right, is there anything else around
Um,
that will be interesting? I mean, if it's just junk, I will ignore it.
most of the other stuff is basically junk there, as far as you
Alright.
can see.
I will then go back to the hall and go up to the upper
Okay.
floor.
You go to the top floor, and here you see a a slightly smaller telescope that has been set up next to one of the windows, but has been like inclined up, so it's not really facing out. There is also basically a lectern, like a stand for reading a book, essentially. And
Is there a book?
yes, there is a book, and it is a it is closed, so you can see the cover of it, and it says it was the
The Art of Stargazing by Wolotharm Gedarm.
it is called The Comprehensive Legacy of Karsus Folly.
Okay, can you just type it?
Oh.
Do I know something about curses?
Yeah.
I would think so, yeah. Karsus Folly is essentially a fairly ancient cataclysm about 2,000 years past, where where a wizard called Karsus essentially tried to, and correct me here, Chris, since you're probably more in-depth knowledge than me, tried to usurp control of the weave.
Not just the weave, he
Of the magic.
tried to take over the job of God of Magic.
Yeah, and as a result, he, I believe he used a what was it? Now I forgot what the name of those orbs are. The
The Netherese artifacts?
yes.
Thank you, you infected me with it.
Perfect. So he used one of these magic items that you have been searching after as well, Quelana. After what you learned the Nightstone to be. It's the same material as that, except whole. And Karsus used one of those in order to usurp the position as God of Magic,
Mythallar.
and yes, and that prompted a short period of time where there actually was no magic, and as a result, the Great Netherese Empire, their flying cities all came crashing down, and created a huge devastation in the world, and a cataclysm of sorts. As a result, most high-level spells stopped working as well, and
Not
there were
stopped
limitations
working.
placed.
Yeah, they were put limitations on. he cast a 12th level spell called Karsus' Avatar, and he did succeed in taking over the job as God of Magic for about 7 seconds. And that's all it took before his mind realized that he did not have the mind of a god. He could not control it. Everything went boom.
Yeah.
And that's why we have restrictions on spell levels now.
Yeah, and in fact, the that relates directly to the Shadow City, because that was the final enclave of the Netherese Empire that fled into the Shadowfell as a last resort, and then returned almost 1500 years later or something like that, to cause decimation in a somewhat remote kingdom from where you are now. Still a powerful kingdom.
Is it big tome?
It is, yeah. It is a very big tome. It is also like giant-sized in general. It appears that it has been made for a giant to hold.
Mm.
It is a very sizable one.
I would just like to look around the tome itself, whether there are any small runes or anything to protect it.
You can't see any, but then again, you're fairly sure that the giant inhabitant of this place didn't expect to die, I suppose, or leave this tower behind. So,
what else is in this floor except for this book?
Just that and the telescope.
Is there any other floors, or did I go through all of it?
That was all the floors.
I would like to go back to the entrance and fly above the tower and see on the top if there's anything.
Okay. You fly outside and towards the top, and aside from noticing that the hipped roof is slightly crooked, almost like a wizard's hat might be, you also notice that there are the tiling on the roof is uniform, except for some places where there are these big star-shaped tiles inserted to form this like starry pattern on the
Beautiful.
like a very standard wizard's hat. It's slightly tilted off at the very top. There's a little brim as well.
Is there anything interesting there, or just like the shape?
Just the shape. There's nothing up there.
Okay, I would like to go below the tower, just below, like be close to it,
Sure.
and see if I can see anything that would give me any clue as to how to make it collapse. I mean, the cause of this magic that is holding it in the air.
It is being held up in the air by a cloud that has been made essentially solid.
Okay. Is there a building or floor close enough to the tower to be within 60 feet of it?
No, this is fairly high up in the sky. You could take your airship up there. That's probably the best option.
I know, but I mean, I will need them to take the airship.
Yes, true.
I'm trying to figure out if I can somehow reach it without it, but I guess there is no way to do it. Oh, actually, yes, there is.
Shield.
Yeah, I just remembered. Before I do that, I will go to the entrance and just check that if I land there, there's no wards or anything that would attack me. I mean, any defensive magic that might be on the entrance of the tower.
Such glyphs are usually either invisible or extremely hard to see.
That's why I'm using the eye to try and see them afterwards. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Isn't those always investigation?
I would say that investigation is more used when you are touching an object and able to manipulate it.
Yeah, I remember the little warding spell specifically says that they can detect it with investigation, not perception.
Yeah, but that's... Yeah, you would be able to touch those wards, though, or get very close to them. In this case, it's only eyesight that's used, so...
Mm-hmm. Because I can't
Um,
actually touch anything.
You don't see any glyphs, at least, around tower.
All right, I will place the eye just on the side of the tower, just so it's there, so I know where it is, and then I will shift back to myself and just look around whether the guards are still guarding me or left.
Okay, you shift into yourself again. The guards are still standing there. Actually, one of them has taken out a set of dice, and they have all assembled to one side to play some dice.
Since they did that, they will earn my major image.
One of them is sitting there with some sort of a little card in his hand, and he appears to be prattling on about some sort of a dungeon.
I will use my major image. I will just make it a tiny grain of sand as it advances towards where they're playing, and then it will grow into a die and grow bigger and bigger, and just to scare them a bit. Until it reaches some size, and then I will just move it away, but just to scare them a bit so they will learn to do their job.
They notice it a little late, but they all do jump out of the way as best as they can, scattering away.
And I will kind of say, next time, guard. And then I will tell them, you can go back to your posts. I have something to do. While I'm still invisible, because my steed is 1 hour invisibility, so they just hear me. They don't see me.
Sure.
And then I will take out my shield and fly up.
All right. Cool. They scatter off. You hear one of them mention, "Hey, we should actually sit down for like 4 hours one night." Seemed really cool. One of the others says, "Yeah, I'll bring some snacks."
I should really get to level 14, then I can make something real out of it.
So you meanwhile fly up.
Yep.
And get up to the tower's height,
entrance.
or close enough at least.
I want to get to the entrance to actually get in.
All right. You are able to get to the entrance.
I will
jump in.
Yeah, I will jump in. I will go straight. I mean, use the shield to go to the top, first to the lower floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to pick up those three eyes.
Suddenly, everything inside is a lot bigger than you actually thought. Now that you are in there as yourself and have a different scope of things, you can.
Seems big.
Yeah, everything seems a little bigger.
Yeah, so I will use the shield to fly down to where those eyes are, and I will pick them up if I can. If they're not giant, and then I will have a problem.
They are. You can probably have one with you, but that would already be very heavy with the fluid inside the jar and everything.
How big is this jar?
It is very big. Beholder eyes aren't exactly small.
All right.
And the container is a giant container.
Yeah.
For now, I will leave it there. And I will first fly up to that book.
Okay.
And I would like to see if I can if it's a giant book that I can't actually pick up.
All right. You fly up, and
Does it have
come to the realization that the book is about as tall as you are.
that might be a small issue. I think.
That's okay. Just push it off the tower. And then hope it doesn't hit someone. Or maybe you could try casting Featherfall, but that might not work on a object.
I'm not sure actually if it. Why wouldn't it fall? Well, let's see.
Creatures.
Creatures. Never mind. I mean, one
That's
can
okay.
one can
Animate
always
the
hope.
book.
One can always hope that it won't hit anyone.
And won't be
Actually, it's not a
destroyed
bad
on
idea.
impact.
Why would it be destroyed? It's a book. They fall all the time.
Yeah. This is very, very high up, and it's a big, heavy book.
I don't mind.
But if you
I would-
animate the book, then it's a creature. Then you can cast Featherfall on it.
No, I don't want to do that. I will leave the book alone because, well, I don't see myself carrying it back to the place. I don't want to start schlepping it.
You know, Kothar has a hand he can help you with.
Maybe for now. I will go back down and pick up an eye and take it with me.
Okay. Pick up one of the eyes in a jar, and
And I would like to, I mean, actually try to figure out what I can do with it.
okay.
I mean, if I have any time left, I will actually go and try and either try to recall or try to find a way to use it in magical usage.
I can straight away tell you that you don't recall any direct magical use for the eyes, although there is always experimentation. Good old experimentation.
Well, we have 3 trials here, so let's go for it.
Yeah.
And also, always when you call for something of great value or power, this is an object of great value and power because it's so rare, and also I'm guessing some of the power of a beholder remains in the eye. So hey,
It is possible.
might work.
I suppose you will have to find out over careful study.
You'll have to wait and see.
Well, we can try to combine it with the Umarok liquor.
That would be interesting.
I will just attach it to the end of a stick and use it to look at people condescendingly.
You know, once you attach it to
Animate
a stick,
the eye.
it won't look very condescending. It would just look like funny. That's at least my view of it. But since I actually have a free day in regards to I can do one more thing, I will cast Illusory Illusion on my backpack, what I wanted to do at the first place.
Sure.
And that's about it. That's all I have to do because the rest I believe I'm like at the end of my last day. So
Yeah. You should pretty much do it.
Mhm.
So, next time, we will pick up from...
next time on Banterol, some more banter.
Yeah, that's definitely something that will happen. We'll pick up from your group huddle, I suppose. I figure out what you want to do about this demon business and more drain, I guess.
Yeah, try to figure out who would be the mastermind in the dark. I don't think it was Sister Basinia. She's either demon possessed or a demon, but still probably not the mastermind of it.
Mm.
She wouldn't have gone down that easily if she was, I think.
Well,
It
we'll
might be
find
that
out,
we
I
haven't
suppose.
actually met the mastermind yet. It's an option.
Well, do you think there's someone that was working on this before, Torm? Before we released Mordrain?
I mean, I have my
Someone was digging in that tomb long before we released Mordrain.
Yeah. And we actually didn't release him.
Well, that wasn't intentional, but it's the effect that it had.
Well, to be honest, we're not sure if it wouldn't have happened either way. Even if we hadn't been there, it might have been released either way. Might have been different consequences, but still might have been released.
Yeah, which means someone had intentions with this whole thing before Mordrain became a mastermind of something.
Though I'm not sure if he's the mastermind.
He's got his own plans, I'm sure.
Yeah, he seems to be more busy with his own thing. Not sure that he's actually part of the plans.
Oh no, but two evil masterminds is still bad.
But I mean, your demon thing might actually be part of the mastermind.
Perhaps. But then again,
you only got it after we fought with. So she might have started it once the demon half got into her.
No, she didn't have it. That was Brasilia was the one we killed outside.
Yeah, we don't know who the demon came from. We just know that you got it.
We know the creature inside was. Let's see. Where did I see that handout?
Was the big creature and the image that I saw of the demon the same? Would it be like the same shape?
The creature inside the shadow thing that we fought was Karsrad.
It's a demon?
No, that one was definitely a giant.
So yeah.
Considering the general shape and features, probably a cloud giant.
Yeah, strange that.
Yeah.
So
weird.
It might be that it was him that began it all.
Maybe.
There are two halves to this. I mean, actually, do we know that it's a half? We don't know if it's a half of a soul.
Just one of two pieces. It's not a full soul combined even. It's me and Mordrain just have a sliver each. That's all that remains of Azael.
Well, I mean, as of yet, it has yet to try and make you do anything. So we don't actually know if it wants to do anything.
Actually, that's what really concerns me. It's being awfully careful and smart about it.
Makes sense.
Most demons tend to just make the most they can of the havoc.
Yeah, but if you're someone that wants to do something horrible, you will wait for the opportune time.
Yeah.
You won't expose yourself too often, because then people will actually kill the one that is carrying you. If you're
that
waiting,
would also be a benefit to it, I think.
What?
Because yet again, that might just transfer him to someone else. And if they're strong enough to kill me, that means they're stronger, so a better host.
Not necessarily. It might be also more numbers against him and losing because of number. I mean,
can be only one.
Do you remember what
strikes in the background?
Do you remember? By the way,
Q Queen's It's a Kind of Magic suddenly starts playing.
Do you remember that when you were infected by it, was after already this part of their plan stopped? So the demon has no reason for currently manifesting. There's nothing here that he needs anymore. He has already done whatever he wanted to do here.
Mm-hmm.
So probably will want to manifest itself when it actually has an opportunity to do something about it. There's no reason for it to currently do stuff for no reason.
Well, I guess we'll find out more about this next time on Banter Roll.
So, I mean, there's one thing that you did notice is that you did see different symbols when you tried to teleport. You
Yeah,
did try to alter the destination where you're going.
no, not so much alter as offer, because it was clearly different enough so that I could choose.
Yes, but curiosity
It wasn't
killed the cat.
exactly,
But I suppose we will have to find out more.
next time on Banter Roll.
Yes, I think we've said that already like 3 times. So
Yes,
let's
time.
run this thing to the ground.
Next time on Banterol, we'll discover what happened.
Will Chump get laid again?
Will there be a post-stream poop?
Will there
Please
be a
be
Quilena next time he's laid?
I feel like we should include the viewers on the some of the information that we share off the channel too. I mean, there has been a lot of information shared.
Too
Pre-stream
much
poops,
information.
trademark stuff.
The people need to know. And now I will take a fare.
Add Seppola on Snapchat to get all of his very important telenovela and poop stories.
Poopy images.
If you like pictures of men sitting on the toilet, follow Sep on Snapchat.
Hashtag toilet.
That's the only thing he's good for.
Make poop great again. Well,
Hashtag make poop great again.
do not take this out of context, but I'm going to go play with my snake now.
No,
I mean,
surely
it's literally out of
that.
context no matter how you say it.
Highlight.
No, the thing is, snakes are nocturnal, so he's not actually awake and alert and active until after the stream. So, because at around 8, the heating lamp hasn't even gone off, so he's just sleeping in a corner under his fake palm bush thing, just enjoying
Just
himself.
like my snake.
Hiding in the bushes.
Yes,
Has
Yes.
to be coaxed out with pincers and...
sure
Sugar
cubes.
cubes.
Okay.
Yes, but
Ah,
he needs
boy.
socializing, so he is used to the idea of being handled.
That is mine. Almost now. I've been doing this for 15 years. It should have been yielding results soon.
Okay.
Next time on Banter Roll.
We touch our snakes. No. I'm already closing this thing off.
Release some pre-stream
No.
poop image.
No. Bloody nonsense, all of this. Good. Good night, folks.